Class Trust's simple automated solution is now end-to-end with the addition of powerful electronic tax return lodgment. Named one of the top 10 most innovative technology companies in Australia for its work on bringing to market its pioneering trust management platform, supporting discretionary trusts and unit trusts, including family trusts, empowering you to automate your daily administration with 200 plus data feeds, auto-journaling of income, capital gains and distributions, daily tracking of your beneficiary accounts, income and capital gain streaming for simplified beneficiary distribution. You can now make real-time informed decisions, access up-to-date information on your client's trust portfolio, standardise and centralise administering family trusts, and improve client service levels. Other powerful features include prepare and electronically lodge tax returns for your trusts using Class, with clear and simple error messaging relevant to the form, and a new layer of security by only enabling tax agents to lodge with additional data exchange functionality. After submitting, you receive up-to-date status without referring to the tax portal. Class has developed a solution that saves hours of manual data entry on either paper forms or multiple software applications with automated pre-fill straight from your general ledger. Removing the manual and error-prone step of calculating the taxable income on convoluted spreadsheets and manually inputting numbers into the return. How does this sound? No more lodging paper forms, no more manual data entry on Excel, no more multiple software applications, no more reworking last year's errors. Electronic Trust Tax Lodgment, another example of how working with Class helps grow your business. Class Trust is the software solution for successful trust accounting. Discover how it works and book a demo today.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Class Trust End-to-End Electronic Lodgement webinar. My name's Adam. I'll be your host today. I'm an accountant, CPA qualified, worked for 10 years in the industry, 3 years at Class. I'm very pleased to be joined by Amy Lee presenting today. Has incredible wealth of knowledge on trusts, previously worked at Deloitte and KPMG, as well as advised listed companies on trusts. We also have a special guest user, Priyanka Luecke, SMSF manager at MGD Wealth. She was an early adopter of Class Trust and Lodgment. She was part of Class's journey when we got product verification testing approved by the ATO, and she was an early beta customer. We have Kevin Zhang and Amy Lee to answer any questions on this webinar. Pop them in the Q&A box. They will try to answer them throughout the presentation. As always, we'll share a copy of the Q&A, a copy of the presentation to the attendees in the following week. We'll also upload a copy of the webinar tab in our webinar portal. We have a full agenda today. It's all about the what and the why for Class Trust. So Amy will be covering why did we build Class Trust, followed by a demo from myself, end-to-end, and question and answers from Priyanka on how she uses Class Trust. We'll just start off with 2 polls. So we'll just launch that poll now. Should pop up in front of your screen. So the first question is, what system are you currently using for investment trusts, for financial statements and lodgements? We'll just wait 1 more minute for that to come through. Okay, we'll just end that poll now. Okay, let me just quickly share. Bear with me. So we have 33% use Class, 0 for 20%, MIB 20%. So same 0 MIB, APS and then other 7% is fairly high, don't have any investment trusts. So we hope that you get something out of this webinar for those that don't have any investment trusts, as well as some insights on class trust lodgement. We have a second webinar, so I'll just reshare. So we'll just bring up the next webinar. Which parts of your trust work papers require Excel or manual data entry? So that's just popped up. And we'll just wait 10 seconds. Okay, we'll just end that webinar, that poll. Just share the results. Okay, so we have 61% capital gains tax used in Excel still. Same as the tax accounting rec, so both very challenging and difficult things to work out. So many different CGT events, tax statements, corporate actions. So it's fairly high. This one was a multi-selection poll. So we hope that Class's solution can kind of automate some of those for you. So just close out of that, just reshare. Okay, so now over to Amy. If you want to start with your presentation on why class trust.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how class trust helps you manage investment trust in trust structures with automated financials and electronic tax lodgement. Kevin and I went to ATO for the Canberra meeting recently, and we were told this is perfect time, given ATO's current structure, to promote the digitalization of trust and increase productivity of trust reporting. Here, we have the figures from ATO, the total number of trusts operating in Australia in the 2020 financial year. Everyone can see the number is quite significant. It's about 927,000 trusts operating in Australia, and almost half of them are investment trusts. And you can also see trusts have been the most popular investment vehicle after super. There are many advantages to using trust structures, such as flexibility, asset protection, and tax savings. The main type of trust include discretionary trust, unit trust, and hybrid trust. Here at Class, we are focusing on managing investments in discretionary trust and unit trust. One of the key advantages of trust over super is that clients can access assets before retiring. So giving them greater flexibility in how they use their money. However, for many firms, trust can be an administrative pain point that everyone can see from the poll questions, right? There are a lot of manual data input and lack of consistency. Research shows that many accountants are battling with some challenges, which limits their capacity to deliver efficiently. For most accountants who are not yet using class trust, they are still doing a lot of things manually. You hear them say things like it's time-consuming, disjointed, inefficient, and error-prone. They are using a piecemeal approach with more than one system, and a lot of them being spent on Excel. So I give you another example. We all need to make trustee resolution in time. Sometimes a trustee will require a resolution to be made before year end. In this case, you should comply with the deed. For example, if the trustee requires a resolution to be made by 25th June, then you should make the resolution by that date. Generally speaking, if you want to make beneficiaries entitled to trust income, you normally need the trustee to sign the trustee resolution by 30th June. Of course, if you are making beneficiaries specifically entitled to trust capital gain by way of appointing trust capital to them, this must be done by 31st August. Regardless, to help plan tax-effective distribution strategies, you need up-to-date information in time. And the first challenge is just obtaining the required information to prepare the estimate financials. And this part alone could easily take 2 weeks for a trust that has decent investment portfolio. You can recall in practice how many accounting firms can actually get their trust financials done by 30 June, right? Or even by 31st August. It's quite hard to get all the information in time. So how can you make effective distribution resolution? So one of the most important features of class is the way we automate to save hours every time we process trust financials and tax returns. We have 200 plus data feeds and the auto generalizing of capital gains and income distribution, which all mitigates the risk associated with manual data entry. You can now make real-time info decisions, access up-to-date information on your clients, improve your client service level, and help your business deliver high-impact results. Another feature of class is the way we integrate with the rest of our product suite, such as Now-Infinity. So you can set up a trust in Now-Infinity and get all the information into class trust for the administration, and also automate financial statement and tax returns. Basically, here in class, we have one-stop solution for your investment trust. Also, clients are discovering that more and more their customers are looking for strategic advice. Automating routine tasks is giving accountants more time to interact with clients and focus on what matters most. Let's have a look at some of the key features of class trust. With the trust financials, you can elect to carry the asset at book cost or market value. So with the trust financial, you can also select how you want to account for the unpaid present entitlements and have this show on the balance sheet as either equity or liability. We have also simplified the process of beneficiary distributions, including streaming of capital gains and frank distributions. Class trust support both discretionary trust and unit trust. Class trust has also automated trust financial statements and tax returns, including reserves, for example, capital loss reserve, asset revaluation reserve, and income definition reserve. For property investments, we have automated depreciation schedules and free property valuations supported by RP data. And lastly, the comprehensive tax accounting reconciliation report, the statement of net income report, and the statement of distribution report will give you all the data you need to finalize your trust financials and tax returns. With an automated trust administration system like Class Trust, you can standardize your process, remove risk of errors, driving more revenue and ability to handle a higher volume of trust. Next, my colleague Adam will show you a demonstration of Class Trust, includes some of our latest features such as electronic tax lodgment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Amy. So I do have a pre-recording of processing a trust fund end-to-end, which I'll just demo now. Just give me a minute. Okay. So I'll just play that. Class is a wealth accounting tax reporting for SMSF's portfolio trusts and non-Now-Infinity documents. Today, we'll be demoing features that will benefit you in completing the trust tax return. It will remove any disparate software and antiquated systems that you might have in place. Starting with Now-Infinity, as Class is an end-to-end solution, you can actually establish a trust on Now-Infinity and push the details through into Class. Those details will include the ACN, ABN, the trustee type and trustee details, whether it's corporate or individual, as well as the beneficiaries and the trust details. So now we just go ahead and add to Class the trust after updating the trust codes that will push through to the fund code in Class. Now we've added that trust as an entity in Class, and you can see it's set up. Class Trust shares the same platform as SMSF's, with the same level of automation on cloud software. We can see the fund list, the whole view of all your entities on Class. You can use tags to categorize and highlight important features of the trust. In this case, it's a discretionary trust, so we tagged it. It's annual reporting for GST. It's also an unlisted trust held by an SMSF. We can also consolidate the trust into its greater portfolio. So in this case here, we have a trust, individual or personal portfolio, and an SMSF all grouped into one. You can click through and view it in client view. It will give you valuations of the group, as well as other calculations, capital gain, losses, unrealized and realized, as well as the performance of the group. We close out of that now, and we go into some bulk processing. Click on transactions, cash console. We can bulk generate income for any investment. In this case, VAS, a very popular ETF from the 22 financial year. We can generate income for this ETF and auto match it, journaling that off into its reports. We also keep a log of history to track the use of this feature. The income announcements are supported for foreign securities, ETFs, managed funds and stapled securities, distributions and dividends. Now we go into the cash console. This is bulk matching of transactions that are common across all your entities on Class. If we type in interest and we change the date range to 22 financial year and hit refresh, and you'll see a lot of interest transactions with the description interest that have come through. We can bulk classify these as cash if we wish, or create a transaction rule in bulk. We also have the feeds console, same level of feed automation as SMSF's. We have our AFR award-winning corporate action solution. Now you can bulk process corporate actions. We support 130,000 per annum corporate actions and income announcements through the ASX reference point data feed, as well as some of the common foreign security corporate actions. We capture rollover relief, script for script, cash for script, consolidations, capital returns, you name the type of corporate action, and we have that available. It is a very strong CGT engine in the background and will determine the appropriate CGT application for that event, as well as if we don't have that corporate action available on the list, raise a support ticket with our support team, and our corporate action team will take a look at that and implement it after the ATO tax ruling. We have some features that are specific to Class Trust. If we go into settings fund defaults at the business level, you'll see asset valuation for trusts can be carried at market value or book costs, as well as CWD, capital works deductions for properties, can be accounting book costs, or it can be tax and accounting book costs. So we navigate into the funds level. The landing page is the fund dashboard, which shows whether this trust is an individual, corporate, and all the details of the beneficiaries, the trustee, the trust details, the latest trust deed, as well as the asset allocation, processing status, and finally the feeds, whether any action is required. We go into the feeds console. We support 200 plus data feeds. We're always adding new data feeds to Class or updating existing data feeds. We automate buys and sells and contra entry those journals out. So requires very little to none manual data entry or human intervention. We email authority forms once you've uploaded those authority forms. We let you know if that provider supports digital signatures and an option at business level to control the tolerance for the feed by day and by amount. Data feeds, the same level of accreditation for trusts as for SMSFs. Those are the ASA E3402, and we have a lot of processes in place to ensure the data accuracy. If we go into transactions, match transaction screen now, you'll see a whole lot of transactions that have been brought in either manually or through data feeds that need to be matched off. So first off the bat, we'll run transaction rules, pick up the automated transaction rules that we've created in the past. These are your monthly rental income. So this is useful if the monthly rental income is grossed up. Then you can create a second transaction rule for your other expenses for that property, as well as the interest. That's kind of a common one. We also have some equity withdrawals. The keywords here are the beneficiary details. Obviously, we just have to be conscious and communicate to our clients the descriptions that we need to comply with these transaction rules. So we create those business events and match them off. We use our auto match algorithm to pick up the suggested matches based on date, amounts. So it's a very clever system with a number of variables to pick up the correct and accurate matching system. We also have a loan account, ING loan account. This feature that I'm about to show you is more for the power users of Class. It's a beta feature at the moment, closed beta. Contact your account manager if you do want more details on it. And what it does, it converts a PDF file into data that can be used as transactions. So if we go into the PDF file, so I'm just uploading PDF. So it supports all bank statements that are PDF. That's within the file format and date format. If I click upload, just using some AWS machine learning to convert the PDF data into class data with date, description, cash in, cash out. So it's just a matter of saving those transactions, and we've inputted a PDF file into class. We have 2 transactions to match off. That's a cash in and a cash out, which we do right now. And that's all your process done for the financial year 22 in terms of transaction processing. Now we go into beneficiaries, browse beneficiaries. You can see the name of each beneficiary, as well as the date of birth, age, and status, as well as the beneficiary balance. So we drill into one of the beneficiaries. We have a new feature, the beneficiary assessment code and entity code. These 2 are mandatory and required for the tax return. So just make sure that each one of those are filled with their respective codes to automate that going forward the financial year. Now we go into investments, browse holding screen. We have automated market pricing for securities, domestic and international, as well as managed funds and other kind of foreign securities. You can also look up for a title search for a property once you've validated the address, as well as you can actually select on RP data to get valuation, commercial or residential. Residential is complimentary, commercial you'll be required to pay, but always you can give that option to your client. We also automate tax statements in the tax statement console, another award-winning feature. So it's been accredited by ASA 3402, which effectively means it's 100% accurate. So our tax statement data is checked by a team. We deliver 1,400 plus tax statement templates for the different types of investments, such as ETFs, listed trusts, stapled securities, and managed funds. It is critical for a trust to capture the correct tax statement data, especially for the franking credits, foreign tax credits, capital gains, discounted, and concessions, as well as cost-based adjustments to the parcels and any offsets. We can generate tax statements in bulk if we wish, or we can generate one by one. We just have to reset this one, and you can see it's all already pre-filled. We just have to generate that, and that tax statement is complete. All the journals are journaled out to their respective reports, and all you need to do is just run a period end for the reports to be updated. That takes us to the period end. So we're running a period update to the 30th of June. Now we can distribute retained earnings. This is one of my favorite screens in class. We have automated the calculation of capital loss reserves, asset revaluation reserves, as well as any adjustments that you need to make according to the trust deed for the definition of income. So these items were each an Excel spreadsheet tab that required antiquated systems and very long journaling, prone to errors. So we've automated that. So we also have an option below to contribute retained earnings as a dollar amount or a percentage amount. Franked distributions, capital gains, and other income can be streamed. So this is another handy tool that's saving you many hours of working out which offsets and which tax credits should belong to which beneficiary for tax minimization purposes. So this is a feature that we're very proud of. You also have an option to residual amount to each or one of the beneficiaries, as well as you can also turn off streaming and just allocate the full amount. Again, any of these details will be pre-populated into the tax return. Again, all of these features will be pre-populated into the tax return, regardless of if you're streaming or just allocating the whole amount. In this case, I've just allocated the residual amount of franking distributions to one of the beneficiaries, capital gains to another, and then other trust income to the third. So we just submit that and close out of the streaming screen. And finally, we can finalize tax and view our tax return. So this takes us to a new screen. The tax return, it's under the cover. It's a separate microservice, which means it opens to a new tab. We also have very smart technology under the hood that whenever the ATO is down for lodgement, the tax return will retry multiple times until it gets a complete fail message. So we go into the tax return form itself. We have a panel that you have easy access to. We can save and validate. We have new validation that will take you directly to the form itself. Each tax return form will require you to enter a declaration date, and that will fill the PDF version of this form as well, which we have released recently in conjunction of the tax return. The tax return form is designed for investment trusts, just making it clear that we don't support any business income for the trust. We do capture all of the different capital gains related to investments held within a trust, and we validate the XBRL error messaging as well, which is the ATO feedback error message. So in this case, we have a negative value in the current assets. If we save and validate, the second layer of error messaging does not appear at all, the XBRL error messaging. So it's just a matter of clicking the next form now. In this form, this is the capital gains tax form. So it pre-fills everything that's in the realized capital gains report. So you can actually reconcile it against that report. So we save and validate that. We go into the next form, which is the losses schedule. Again, just important to make note of any losses in the past. So we click save. And finally, the rental schedules. So there's a couple of items that you still need to enter in. The dates the property was purchased. The date property was purchased, as well as ownership and the rental weeks. And dates that it first earned income. So we click save and validate, and there's no more error messages. Click back to home. So all the tax returns are validated. So now it's just a matter of changing the view to admin view. Again, only tax agent roles can lodge at the moment in class. We'll, based on feedback, open that up to administrators as well. So the tax agent is selected. We've validated all. So that's going to be across forms and within form validation. Click submit. That's submitted to the tax agent, and the tax agent can actually lodge that. Before we do that, we can go into our report packs. There are a couple of new reports as well as old reports and some reports that are specific to trusts. So we have an existing report in our report packs. We just open that up. Again, cover page, similar to SMSFs, you can definitely add a logo in there and any kind of white label you wish. You could also add a custom report to add in your specific graphics. The balance sheet separated to current and non-current assets and liabilities. So that's a feature specific to Class Trust, as well as your reserves and beneficiary details. Your P&L, so it's renamed P&L. For SMSFs, it's operating statements, also has your asset revaluation reserve there, and the distributions to the beneficiaries, any profits that have been distributed to the beneficiaries. You have your notes to the statements of financials. Again, this is trust specific. We have the beneficiary accounts. We have the trustee declaration for the trust. We also have the compilation report. We also have the tax accounting reconciliation for trust. So this one was an Excel spreadsheet with disparate kind of systems involved, kind of a mismatch of Excel spreadsheet with manual data entry to get these kind of figures. Again, now Class automates those, replacing the Excel work papers. It also gives you details on how that account reconciliation is being transferred to the beneficiary accounts. Finally, we have the statement of net income. This gives us the breakdown of the tax return itself. So every detail, it pre-fills each section. So you can go to section 8, for example, and it'll give you all of your income. So yeah, it does give you all the details of each section and the breakdown. So the statement of distribution is always linked to the tax return. So this data will always match and pre-fill the tax return as well. We have investment income detailed reports. So it gives you kind of the income received for each investment. We also have the investment movement summary reports. It gives you the kind of the cost and the market value, acquisitions, disposals, and any kind of movements in between. We have realized capital gains reports, very useful again for your client to understand, the realized capital gains and how the calculation came about. So again, that's one of the useful reports that clients really enjoy to read through. Investment summary. Again, this is standard, so it gives you a portfolio weighted as well as market value and costs. Then you have your investment performance report. So it'll give you the performance of the fund based on investment and total return. Now we do have the annual return, and you can send this report pack for signing. That's a free or complimentary integration with DocuSign, which you can actually tag each report package. Most report packs, except for the annual return, are automatically tagged. So that's another kind of free integration that Class provides. Part of your account. Okay, thanks guys for listening. Just reshare my screen. Okay, so next up is Q&A with Priyanka. Good afternoon, Priyanka. Thanks for joining us today. Let's start with what does MGD Wealth do in your role in the practice?
Thanks, Adam, and hello, everyone. My name is Priyanka. I'm the SMSF manager here at MGD Wealth and have been using Class since I was a wee undergraduate accountant, so quite a history there. MGD is a firm that provides a range of services. So we're wealth management, tax advisory, risk and succession advisory as well. Our team here at MGD administers self-managed super funds, but also a number of trusts as well, investment trusts and unit trusts, and most of them are pre-99 trusts.
Okay, that's great to hear. I mean, so you've been an early adopter of Class Trust and Lodgment. So where does Class Trust fit in MGD Wealth's tech stack? And I mean, what was the process before Class Trust?
Well, prior to using Class for our trusts, we were working in 3 separate systems. So one was for our data feeds, another for the preparation of the financial statements, which did require quite a lot of manual journals posting into, as well as running a number of Excel work papers. And then a third system to prepare and also lodge the tax returns for trusts. So very, very clunky.
Okay, well, that's good that Class Trust is your solution. What are you seeing as the benefits of using Class Trust compared to the previous solution? I mean, you touched on it, if you wanted to elaborate a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So having all of our entities in the one system, we're effectively using Class Trusts. We're using Class from start to finish for our trusts. So a greater level of efficiency for these type of entities for our team. We're also able to tap into the other functions that Class provides, which you ran through, Adam, but just to name a few would be bulk matching, requesting property valuations, ordering title searches, and transaction rules as well. I must say, though, one of the greatest benefits that we're seeing is the ability to prepare and lodge the tax returns now through Class. And it was very interesting to be part of that beta testing with yourself and Amy. But that integration now, we're able to eliminate a number of manual work papers, rental schedules, income tax reconciliations, as well as CGT calculations. So great benefits there.
Yeah, that's great efficiencies and time saving. So, I mean, that's a good segue to, if you can put a number on it, how much time have you saved using Class Trust?
Well, way to throw me in the deep end there a little bit. Each entity is different. So of course it matters in terms of what they've got within the trust and also the level of activity that trust is engaging in. But for a trust that has a number of commercial properties, a bank account or two, and even an investment portfolio, we're looking probably between 2 to 10 hours on average for a trust that size. So let's say 10 hours, that's a lot of time that we can now spend on doing value added services for our clients rather than spending time reviewing and checking and correcting mistakes that are inherent with manual entered data.
Oh, that's fantastic. So where are you seeing the growth in investment trusts and the direction that the industry is going at the moment?
Well, trusts are simply a structure for investment. They act as an alternative to, say, investing in your own name or via a partnership or through a company, for instance. They act as a common structure to invest within, mostly from the ability to pool resources with other parties, whether they be business partners or family members, and potentially to even borrow money through the trust for a larger purchase, say a commercial premises or something to that effect. Trusts also, investment trusts in particular, also come with a lot less restrictions than, say, an SMSF, for instance. Of course, any decisions like this you would be doing within consultation with your advisor, accountant, and solicitor to make sure it's the right vehicle for you, as there's so many implications, not just estate planning, but tax implications as well as compliance with the regulations.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you, Priyanka, for those answers. Been very insightful. And we've just run out of time. So thank you, viewers, for listening today. I hope you got something out of today's session. Feedback on Class Trust. You can raise an aha. Again, a big thank you to Priyanka. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. We'll dispatch the Q&A as well as the slides to all of those that have registered to this webinar, as well as the recording. So feel free to reach out to any one of us in class. happy to hear any feedback. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.